Hey guys, Bassmaster Elite Series Pro, Drew Cook here with BassResource, and we're talking about bank fishing, pond fishing. You know what I would take if I was going and could only take one bait. It's going to be a swimming worm, the big bite tour swim worm, and the reason why is because of the versatility of it. You know, you can throw this thing out and let it sink all the way to the bottom, fish it just like a regular worm. You can throw it out there and, you know, let it sink halfway and reel it in. But also, whenever you're fishing it like a regular worm and you get done and you're reeling it in, you're still fishing that bait. You know, it's swimming back in. You still have the opportunity to catch a fish. But you can take this thing and, you know, when you're on the bank, you're going down the bank, throwing, you know, at the bank, you can reel this thing fast, and it's actually like a topwater. So that's why I would go towards this. You know, you can fishing when you pull up or you walk up and there's a lay down, right? So first cast, you know, over it, you're reeling it fast on the surface, you know, no bites. Next cast, you're kind of slow winding it through it, and then you actually throw in there and flip, you know, fish it like a worm, you know, hopping it through the limbs. Just the versatility of it is probably why it's a pond fisherman's best friend, in my opinion. You know, just taking this around, you can do everything with it. You can fish from the surface to however deep you want to let it sink. You know, rigging it on, say, like a 3/16 ounce like I have here. This bait is great for coming through pads, any type of grass, really. You know, that's kind of what it's, you know, designed around, but it's also really good to fish around wood, you know, like a regular worm or like a, you know, swimming it. So that's where I would throw it a lot, is especially if you had, you know, a mixture of that stuff, you know, some wood mixed in with some pads or some hydrilla or eelgrass, or, you know, anything that you'll find in those ponds or bank fishing that makes it, you know, able to fish through that cover efficiently and be able to get some bites. So obviously, if you're just getting into pond fishing, you know, use what you have. But what I would use as a jack of all trades, you know, pond fishing, throwing my swimming worm and stuff, is a Dobbins Champion HP 744, which is a 7.4 medium heavy, and I would have, you know, somewhere from that 16 to 20 pound line. You know, sunline. I use a lot of 16 whenever I'm swimming a worm in open water. So 16 pound sniper. If I get around a lot of cover, I'll use 20 pound shooter, a high gear ratio reel, and that's about it. So if I had to pick one bait to go pond fishing with, it would be the big bite tour swim worm. Very natural color, can't go wrong with a watermelon red or anything green pumpkin based. They'll bite it all year long. Doesn't matter if the pond's clean or dirty with green pumpkin. So that's what would be my go-to for pond fishing.